Good morning. So today we have two tours. We have a cemetery tour that we are doing. We have a haunted tour that we are doing. And then we have dinner at the Doris Metropolitan. So we will see you along on all those journeys. Bye.
So guys, good morning. My name is Trevor. I am a DJ tour guide today, you lucky few. And so before we take off, there are a few rules of the game I got to cover with you. I need you to understand these are not my rules. They are the rules of the city of New Orleans. And the very first rule of the city of New Orleans says that they just do not care if I stand out in the middle of the street. Why? I'm a tour guide. They can replace me in a heartbeat around here. You can't swing a dead cat over your head in this town without hitting like 100 tour guides at a time. It means that right now in my city there are roughly 100 people waiting for me to get run over by taxi cab drivers, out of control mule carriages, and ticked off pedicab riders. Those 100 people want my job. Times are hard. You guys are my guests. Your safety means everything to me. I need you to stay on the sidewalk at all times. Everybody cool with that?
Yes.
Excellent, because now for sake of honesty, I'm honestly tell you, I honestly do not care about your safety. We just met. You don't mean that much to me right now. But I promise by the time this all ends, our relationship will blossom and deepen. We will all become BFFs. We're going to Twitter and Facebook all day long. Cross my heart. What is important to me is this. If you're not on the sidewalk during my tour, $500 fine for me. You can kind of tell by the way I dress. I don't make that kind of money. Please do not make me get hit with that fine, okay? But our first mission, get across Bourbon Street as fast as possible. Look, I grew up in the French Quarter. Bourbon Street scares me. Let's go this way. That's a bit of an urban legend for us here for a pretty long time. Then we got concrete proof. Guy bought a house a couple blocks up river from here, so he just had to have an in-ground pool in his fancy new French Quarter courtyard. Dug down for the deep end, found 15 human remains in cypress and cedarwood caskets. You guys remember the movie Poltergeist, right? Yeah. That was a great find for the archaeologists and physical anthropologists of the area. Cypress and cedarwood don't rot in water. Amazing preservation on those remains. Really great find for science. We're going to go with science on those bodies. Okay, we're going to go with science on the bodies. The block over there was owned by the largest mafia family in New Orleans for generations at a time. We're just going to go with science on those bodies. I mean, it's criminal science, but it's still science. Let's go this way. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have now crossed out of the French Quarter. We're in the neighborhood of the Treme. Treme is a very important place, I think, not just in the culture and history of New Orleans, I think the entire nation and the world. It's the very first free African-American neighborhood in North America. Ladies and gentlemen, this is probably what brought most of y'all out on this tour today. It's what makes this one of the most famous cemeteries in America, if not the entire world. This is where we are 99.999999999% sure is the right final rest place of Miss Marie Laveau, our past voodoo queen. I cannot tell you 100% sure she's buried there. She did actively cultivate the air of mystery about herself throughout her life. But from the historical clues in the tomb, we are most sure that this is where she was laid to rest. Now, the first clue is the inscription on the faceplate. It says, Family de Paris née Laveau. Family of Paris, maiden name Laveau. The Paris of the family she was married into when they arrived here as refugees from the Haitian slave revolts. Her family were free people of color on the island of Haiti, plantation owners, and slave owners. When the slaves revolted, they did not differentiate between black and white. It was slave owner or slave. They will kill most of the slave owners on that island with billhooks and machetes. Kind of justified. Haiti was hell on earth. Didn't get a lot better afterwards. The free people of color fleeing, many of them came here to New Orleans because we had a language and a shared legal system. That's an important consideration. This is the one place in the continental United States where you can land in and not be enslaved the minute your foot hit the dock. You only risk credit if you have land. You can't take your land with you when you flee for your life. To establish themselves in the city of New Orleans, they married Marie to the Paris family. Her husband's name was Jacques Paris. He was a well-known well-known carpenter and contractor. He was instrumental in designing and building cotton gins and sugar mills for the plantations up and down the river. He's 15 years older than her. She's the second wife. I think he's looking for more of a free nanny service than a spouse. He's never home. He's away on business. What he's mostly away on is business. He's drinking, gambling, and womanizing. Working back here, she's not going to put up with it. Well, you don't like what I'm doing, you can leave. Oh, wait, you can't. Your family needs me, my connections, so I guess you're stuck. Also, you guys got to remember, this is the Catholic Church. There's no divorce. Not a huge burden for Marie. Jacques' never around, but he doesn't send a lot of money back to take care of his household or his kids. She has to have a job. She'll become one of the most popular hairstylists in the city of New Orleans. One of the very few professions open to a free woman of color. But she's very popular and she's very successful. That opened doors for her across all social strata. And will give her a lot of opportunities later on in her life. Now, time passes. Jacques never comes home. We have no idea what happened to that dude. No, he's just gone. Some people think he died on the road. Maybe he got kidnapped and sold to slavery somewhere else in the South, which did happen. Or maybe he just ran away with a mistress. We don't know. But she waited the proper amount of time and then had him declared legally dead. With his legal death, she inherits the estate. Louisiana law, she's the current spouse, she's got first dibs. Well, she continues to take care of her stepchildren from Jacques, but she'll use his estate to leverage herself to become one of the most powerful businesswomen this city's ever known. She owned multiple properties here in the Treme, the French Quarter, the Faubourg Marigny, and the Marigny neighborhoods. So I love the tourist question of, oh, was that Marie Laveau's house? Was that her house? Was that her house? Was that her house? Was that her house? Sure, why not? She owned dozens. Did she live there? Probably not. Now, also, she will, remember that she's doing all these ladies' hair. And these women love to brag to Marie about how successful their husbands are. Oh, my husband's going to make thousands of dollars off this new investment. I'm so glad he's doing that because now I can have you do my hair every week, Miss Marie. Oh, really? What investment is he going to make all that money off of? And $100 into that thing. It's insider trading without being insider trading. She'll also use her wealth to help African slaves, by the way, out of slavery. With a caveat. I'll buy your freedom. You pay me a percentage of your income the rest of your life. Now, it wasn't a lot, like 2 to 5%, maybe as much as 10%, but how much is your freedom worth to you? I mean, it's a pyramid scheme, but it's a pyramid scheme that got people free. So, I think it balances out pretty well. Also, with Jacques' spirit, she probably meant she did love. His name was Christophe Lapillon, son of French chevaliers, French knighthood, very popular gentleman. They cannot be married. He is white, she is black. Interracial marriage at the time was illegal. They'll spend the rest of their lives together and have 9 surviving children out of 16 total. You have that many kids with somebody spend your entire life with them, that's a pretty solid marriage. I don't care what paperwork says. In fact, throughout his life, Glapion will repeatedly petition Louisiana and the state of New Orleans to have his legal status changed from white Creole to free man of color, swearing his family had always been 1/8 black, but had hidden it for like political and social reasons. There's no historical evidence of that. He was doing it just so he could finally marry the woman he loved in public legally. Through the early 1800s and the mid 1800s, ladies and gentlemen, that is one heck of a commitment to a relationship. When he died, she had buried in the pre-family tomb. Also, his sons from his previous marriage, Archange Glapion and Josephine Glapion, are buried in this tomb, and their children who do not survive childhood are buried in this tomb. Why would she not be burying these people? This is her family, of course she's buried here. But if she's the Voodoo Queen of New Orleans, what's she doing in a Catholic cemetery? Voodoo is an offshoot of Roman Catholicism. It's a core of West African traditional beliefs and practices surrounded by an outer shell of Catholicism with the influence of local Native Americans. Everyone knows that practices voodoo. Out of them, 85% of them go to Mass on Sunday. They go Catholics. It's an expansion of their spirituality. It's not a negation of their basic faith. Being a good Catholic, she was given last rites, a proper funeral mass, and buried here in St. Louis, #1, because the Treme and the French Quarter were her home neighborhoods. She attended Mass at St. Louis Cathedral, also at St. Augustine's Church, the first African-American Catholic church in North America. That's a lot of Americas in one all sense. Now, today, she is considered to be a Loa, a guardian spirit of the city of New Orleans. You can think of her like a voodoo saint. People would come here to leave offerings and say prayers to get their help they need. Was to the African-American slaves here as a place to better themselves financially, but also to express themselves culturally, artistically, and a place to express their spirituality by hiding that spirituality behind everything else that was going on in this area on those Sunday afternoon slave markets. Now, most of the slaves brought from West Africa to the Caribbean were brought from the Niger River Delta area. That's the Yorubans. When they're brought here, they're sold primarily the French, Spanish, and Portuguese, 3 very Catholic nations. The Yorubans found a way to keep their spirituality alive, hidden behind a thin outer shell of new religion being forced on them. Actually, a lot of parallels between the Roman Catholic beliefs and the Yoruban beliefs, superficially speaking. Yorubans believe in one God. They believe that one God created everything in the universe. He doesn't answer prayers. He's so far away as to more powerful than we are, he can't hear our tiny voices. It's a lot like an amoeba praying to one of us. I mean, maybe they do, but who knows? But he knew that we need help in this world. He creates the Orisha. That's the ancestry family, Church of West African demigods, or human beings been raised to divine status. That's why Marie Laveau is now a Loa, a guardian spirit in the city of New Orleans. So look at Catholicism. God in heaven, human beings on earth, between us and God, they are the saints. Saints answer prayers, little too minor for you to bother God with directly. So if in the crowd days, an old school Catholic like my mom, you lost your car keys, quick person St. Anthony, patron saint of lost objects. About to go on a long car trip, say quick person St. Christopher, patron saint of travelers. We found our keys, went our car, yay, road trip. But wait, did you pack that thing that I asked you to pack last night? Man, you never asked me to pack that. Yes, I did. No, you didn't. Yes, I did. No, you didn't. Yes, I did. You said uh-huh when I asked you about it. Oh, I said uh-huh because I'm ignoring you. This is now the perfect opportunity to say quick prayer to St. Jude, patron saint of lost causes. Y'all kind of seeing the parallels here? If A equals B and B equals C, A equals C. That's math. That's a transitive property. You can't argue with math. So there's only one God. God is God. Why people like saints? They had a Orisha. They do the same kind of work. Gotta be the same type of spiritual beings, right? This all blends together pretty neatly. So you find Voodoo Valley out here in Louisiana, also in Haiti, French colonies, Cuba, Puerto Rico, South Mexico, Central America, Santo Rio Santo Spanish. Go to Brazil, Portuguese, Candomblé. It all comes out of the same framework. So guys, I want to thank you for coming out with me today. My name is Trevor. This is Witchy Root Tours. If you guys enjoyed yourself today, please go to TripAdvisor, Google, Facebook, Yelp. Give me my company, give a review. That's how we find nice people like y'all. Honestly, I stay employed.
Are you guys just sharing that?
Huh?
You guys just sharing that?
We can all have one if you'd like.
I can see.
Take a picture. I'm glad still waiting for his.
Yeah, you're still waiting for yours.
Oh yeah. Okay, thank you.
Good evening, y'all. Welcome to Haunted History Tours. My name is Kyle. I'll be your tour guide this evening. Now, I want to start off with a little bit about what this tour is and is not. So, Haunted History 5 in 1 tour. I'm going to be taking you to a variety of historic locations related to voodoo, vampires, ghosts, unsolved mysteries, New Orleans folklore, telling the awesome and interesting histories behind those locations, stories what happened there. No, this is not Halloween Spook House tour. We have not hired anyone to hide in an alley with a weapon and jump out and scare you or anything like that. Now, if anyone does jump out of an alley with a weapon at you, that is a very different New Orleans tradition. Known as mugging, you're probably right. Now, before we get going, I do need to give y'all one small piece of information for your own safety. Now, we are in the state of Louisiana. Louisiana, unlike the other 49 states of the Union, bases its laws on old French codes. The rest of the country, British common law. Now, that means architectural Latinian French Quarter, and there is very good reason for that. French did settle this area. They did build up the area, the classic French architecture of the time. French architecture at the time used primarily wood. Here in New Orleans, cypress wood. It's fantastic wood to use. It is plentiful. This is a cypress swamp. It's also resistant to rotting, resistant to termites. It's very oily wood. It worked great for about 70 years. Until one night, 1788, a Thursday night, a man by the name of Don Vicente Nunez was praying by candlelight in his home down by the cathedral. He is praying. He is so engrossed in his prayers that he does not realize when his drapes blow in and catch fire on his candles. By the time he realizes that his room's on fire, fire is too big for him to fight himself. He runs out of his home, runs down the block to the church the cathedral stands today. He slams on the door. He awakens the priest. The priest comes down in. He begs the priest to sound the church bell. Church bell is the only way we had to sound the alarm in the city at the time. The priest looks at him and says, "No, no, 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 my good son. It is after midnight. It is no longer Thursday. It is now Friday." And to be specific, it was Good Friday. And no good Catholic priest will ever ring a church bell on Good Friday. As a result, 856 of the 1,100 buildings in the city at the time burned to the ground that night. We learned that very oily property of cypress wood does lend itself to fire. But New Orleans is a very resilient city. We rebuilt again in the classic French architecture of the time. And 6 years later, 1794, some teenage boys playing the hayloft up Royal Street. They're playing as teenage boys are wont to do with fire. Little pyromaniacs managed to catch that hayloft on fire, and this time about a third of the buildings in the city burned down. Now, after that second great fire, the Spanish government that was in place at the time stepped in, put in a whole bunch of new building codes. They essentially said, no more French architecture. We're going to rebuild this city in the Spanish colonial style, bricks and iron. That is the architecture primarily around us today. These murders are being attributed to a mysterious figure who is known only as the Axeman. This starts to drive the city into a frenzy. People are terrified of the Axeman. No one will walk anywhere alone. Stores of men walking to work in groups of 12, all carrying shotguns. And many people are assuming these tiny hole victims' back doors are the entry points into the building. There's rumors going around that the Axeman must be a child or raised under a woman or something like that. But very few eyewitness accounts of the Axeman describe him as being a very large man. And it starts few rumors, maybe the Axeman is something supernatural. Something that cannot be explained. Possibly some sort of demon. And the height of all of this hysteria, the New Orleans newspaper receives a letter from the Axeman himself. Now, the return address on this letter was given only as hell. The letter starts, esteemed mortals, they never caught me and they never will. They've never seen me, for I'm invisible, even as the ether that surrounds your earth. I am not a human being, but a spirit and a demon from the hottest hell. I am what you Orleanians and your foolish police call the Axeman. When I see fit, I shall come in to claim other victims. I alone know whom they shall be. I shall leave no clue except for my bloody axe. The smear of his blood and brains of he whom I have sent below to keep me company. If you wish, you may tell the police to be careful not to rile me. Of course, I am a reasonable spirit. I take no offense at the way they have conducted their investigations in the past. In fact, they have been so utterly stupid as not only amuse me, but his satanic majesty himself. But tell them to beware. Let them not try to discover what I am, for it were better that they were never born than to incur the wrath of the Axeman. I do not think there's any need for such a warning, for I feel sure that the police will always dodge me, as they have in the past. They are wise and know how to keep away from all harm. Clearly, New Orleans Police Department hadn't changed that much 100 years. Undoubtedly, your Orleanians think me as the most horrible murderer, which I am. But it could be much worse if I wanted to, if I wished to pay a visit to the city every night. I'd feel like it's like thousands of your best citizens, for I am in close relationship with the angel of death. Now, to be exact, at 12:15 earthly time on next Tuesday night, I am going to pass over New Orleans. In my infinite mirth, I'm going to make a little proposition to you people. Here it is. I am very fond of jazz music, and I swear by all the devils in the nether regions that every person shall be spared in whose home a jazz band is in full swing at the time I have just mentioned. If everyone has jazz band going, well then so much the better for you people. But one thing is certain, and that is that some of your people who do not jazz it on Tuesday night, if there be any, will get the X. Well, as I am cold and crave the warmth of my native Tartarus, and about time I leave your earthly home, I will cease my discourse. Hoping thou wilt publish this, and may go well with thee. I have been, am, and will be the worst spirit that has ever existed, either in fact or realm of fancy. Signed, the Axeman.
Okay, so you'll notice that last tour, I didn't get a lot. At the beginning, he said no videotape. I tried to get a little here and there, but a lot of it was the same. And I mean, quite frankly, the first haunted tour we went on, I think it was the best anyway, which will have the most material. So, aside from that, I did get some pictures. I don't know if the video that I got will have any orbs in them, but I know that some of the photos that I took tonight had some orbs in them, which was kind of cool. But we'll see you at dinner. Bye.
No.
It's very smooth.
Her name's Rachel. Here.
Through the glass doors,
Okay.
and it smells phenomenal out there.
Here, you'll have to.
So this is gonna be good.
Good morning, everybody. So last night, as you notice, I don't have much of a voice. Last night we ate at Doris Metropolitan. The food was really good. I had ended up getting like a tuna tartare, and it was like really spicy. I had chili flakes in it, and apparently I just didn't read the description well enough. But they were kind, and they took it back and remade it for me. Apparently there ended up being a very large group come in, and our ticket got pushed back, so the manager actually come over and paid for our meal. So we got around a $200 meal on the house. And the food was really good. So I would definitely give it a 5. I would definitely say give it a shot if you are in town. The food was good. So this is going to wrap up our NOLA vacation. We are headed out today. Checkout is at noon. But we will not be getting home until close to 1 o'clock in the morning, Saturday morning. So, we'll see you next time. See you on the next date night or whatever. Bye.